get it started.
All right, sick.
Okay, what's up, guys? We're here for Blue Summer interviews with Ian from Cloudpool Co, who is one of the best designers in Atlanta right now, in my opinion. And we're really excited to see what he's been doing and how he's gotten there and stuff like that. So, just to start off with, what got you into fashion in the first place? Like, what made you kind of get into that design element of things and all that?
Well, when I first started, it was kind of more just about, like, making, like, I guess art, quote unquote, like, whatever I could do in Illustrator, I guess. That's what I started with. Because I kind of had the idea to make, like, a clothing brand. You know, just kind of have, like, you know, some of the pieces I draw in Illustrator, like, on T-shirts was, like, kind of the first concept. And they were just T-shirts for a long time. That's kind of how I, you know, kind of got into it, was like, you know, brands like Supreme and Palace and like those kind of more hype beast brands now, when they were back then when they were doing more like fashion pieces and like skate brand pieces, when I started to get more into like concerned about figuring out how to like manufacture and like kind of think more outside the box versus just doing like the logo and then the T-shirt.
So what do you think is the role of large fashion outlets like 21 like 21 Savage,
Yeah, no,
like 21, Forever 21,
Yeah.
and Urban Outfitters? Do you think they play a positive role because they introduce people to fashion and then they can expand into brands like yours and gain that, or do you think they just saturate the market and make it harder on you guys?
I think it's both. I think, well, Urban Outfitters is a good example. They used to be the spot. That'd be the place to go to get your pants, your tops. They had all the really cool stuff, and it was expensive, and like, you know, it was kind of like part of that niche market of like, you know, stuff that like we started to buy, but they started kind of feeding to more masses, like, you know, just like again with like, you know, because you know, girls are more into I guess like specific fashion pieces, and guys can kind of go from different. I see like guys dress a lot more plain, and you know, girls have a more tendency to go out with their pattern choices and certain stuff, mostly, right? But you know, there's some guys who will wear like they mainly stick to black. I guess they, you know, you see that with like, you know, ripped jeans or like a lot of like messy art, I would say, is their fashion style, which, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of, because a lot of people have that similar style. But like, you know, for the girls example, it's like, you know, girls started to go in there and they would, you know, because they had a bigger section for women and stuff, and you know, they got the Sherpa coats and like, you know, the checkers and like the certain shoes and stuff, and that kind of fed into more of Forever 21 getting into that, and like but as of like the way that like that's changed the culture, I'd say it's a bad thing in my opinion. A lot of people today like want to do like brands and want to do clothes and stuff, you know, and there's like no meaning behind it, or they don't follow through with it. And for me, that's a lot worse than Forever 21, because people are always going to shop Forever 21, but the certain market that you're usually tackling when you're in this stuff is people who care about fashion or like want something different, you know. And the people who go to Forever 21 aren't really going to buy your clothes. They might, but you know, it's, you know, if you're a bigger brand, they probably will, but like, you know, most likely they're not. But like, I have a more issue with everyone trying to do a clothing brand. That's more like my thing, where it's like I definitely want people to make clothing brands. My thing is like there's too many people doing half-ass clothing brands and not like trying to figure out the factory stuff and not like really digging deep into it.
So you are leaving America soon.
Yes.
You're going, where are you going?
I'm going to Denmark. I'll be in the second biggest city there, which is Aarhus. It's like probably 3 hours away from Copenhagen, like a train ride. We're living there because it's like cheaper.
Who are you going there with?
I'm going there by myself, but I do have a friend to help me out with a lot with the brand in the beginning. He, you know, come to the pop-ups and help me out, and he, you know, became like more of a friend and stuff, and was, you know, really, his name's Jeffy, by the way, but he really like helped out with like things, so I didn't really ask him to, and he was, you know, always, you know, trying to help me or help sell this or do stuff, and I kind of asked him if he wanted to join the brand, and he ended up finding an investor. So
In Denmark?
Yeah, in Denmark. So we're so I'm gonna move in with him, and we're gonna work on the brand, and that's kind of the whole gist so far of what we're doing. We have the whole line ready. We're setting up the company now because the whole visa situation's kind of complicated, because I need the company to be set up so I can get a job offer to apply for the certain visa.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, there's going to be a lot of work, but I'm excited though.
So being that you're going to be based in Europe, do you think that you're going to be primarily marketing initially to Europeans, like in Europe, or are you going to continue to try to get a lot of business stateside?
I haven't got too many I guess I haven't got a lot of business like here. I guess like especially in Atlanta too. Like a lot of people don't, I guess, buy my stuff. You know, right?
So do you sell more stuff online, like in overseas?
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. I sell way more online. At least 80% of my sales are online, and then I got a 20-15% here that's like random. And it's usually like, oh, New York or Virginia. It's like really random states. Texas, just like super random states.
What marketing strategies do you use to get your brand out there and available to people all over the world like that?
That's a good question. It's kind of hard to say because the shirt you're wearing right now, that shirt was the first shirt that I manufactured, and it ended up being like a shirt that these guys bought from Denmark, two of them, and they reposted it in this Facebook chat, and it just kind of blew up there. And then it started getting word of mouth and stuff, and I started getting more followers from Denmark, and more shipments and stuff like that, and I was just doing a lot there, and I decided to do the pop-up. But as for availability, it's just, I think a lot of the pricing on my site's fair, so that kind of helps with exposure, I guess, as well. It's like, oh, this isn't too expensive, so I'll buy it. A lot of it's been word of mouth. As of now, we're trying to come up with some different marketing strategies, and that's probably the best thing to do is that we're going to work on is just giving away clothes to certain influencers and stuff. And there's a lot in Europe and in Denmark and really close in Germany and England and France that will wear our stuff, like that will email and contact them to wear our stuff, post a fit pic, and then we'll have some different like marketing strategies that go into it. Like we'll probably once we have those pictures, we'll have our own pictures on our Instagram, and then after that we're gonna do we're gonna get those repost counts to repost the picture of the people doing the fit pic, so it's not technically like an advertisement, so it looks more natural. Yeah. That way, it's like, oh, what is this guy wearing, right? Oh, who's this guy? What's he wearing? And then that's kind of the system. So if we got 50 or 30 people wearing our stuff who are Fitbit people, guarantee one of them's gonna get picked up by, 100 to 500K repost page, and that will kind of help collide things. So
that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
And so as far as your brand aesthetic, you mentioned, we were just talking, and you mentioned that one of the jackets was specifically inspired by Cowboy Bebop. So how does anime specifically play into the way that you approach your art and your fashion?
So that's a good question. So a good anime I've watched was Initial D. It's like a racing
I remember
anime.
that, yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite animes. I haven't finished it, but it's really good, and like I think it's a lot of the new anime, I probably wouldn't copy their style of clothing. Mm-hmm. It has to be a specific anime. A lot of the older ones, or some, I guess like a lot of the older ones are like, I guess the brand kind of uses anime in a way. It's like, for me, it's like whatever I like, whatever I'm into, I usually take that and make my clothes. Like it's a lot of everything around me. So a lot of like whatever I'm exposed to or certain stuff, and I'll take that in. It's rare that I'll take a piece from an anime like that.
Yeah.
But
can you tell people specifically what the jacket I'm referring to is?
Yeah. So yes. So there's I don't know what episode this is. It's probably, I don't know how many episodes are in the season. It's probably around 16, somewhere around there, I think. I don't remember how many episodes there are. But it's when they go to the planet where there's no women, and it's really cold there, and Spike is wearing this pink jacket. It's like this fuchsia pink jacket. It, of course, has the filter of the dimness from the anime specifically, but it's like a fuchsia pink. And it's almost like this trench coat puffy jacket, and it's got this really long collar. And, of course, this is a sample, so I'm just kind of...
So that's the mock-up of the jacket.
Yeah, this is the silhouette technically, but I need probably about 5 more inches in length on the jacket because it's going to be more trench coaty, and then probably 2 more inches on the collar, and then no fluff in there. That way it's more like that. But the idea is like you can kind of see whatever you're having here because he's wearing a light blue turtleneck. So if you have like I guess on a collared shirt, but like a turtleneck or something, you can have this underneath. This is like when I got this, I was surprised. It's got like nice satin in it. It's like really comfortable. You could go snowboarding in this. Like it's a solid jacket. So yeah. It's funny. There was this one polo I had, and it was supposed to be like a pew, which is like a polo material, kind of like a regular like Ralph Lauren polo.
Right. And
it was the Cloudpool logo, this cloud, and then it was supposed to be baby blue with a yellow collar, and it was pretty clean. I had a sample from another factory, but I ended up going with the lower minimum factory because I didn't have enough money at the time. And they made them shit, and I was pissed off. I literally did not sell them for, I guess, like 3 or 2 months, and I was like, you know, I'll just put them up. I need some money. I put them up for like $17, and they literally sold out in like 2 days. I had like 25 of them, and they just went like that.
It's interesting, I guess, what if you're behind the art, you're a perfectionist, but then other people will still fuck with stuff that you make.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely pretty interesting.
So if you were going to give any advice to somebody who wants to be in your position, who wants to be approaching fashion from an angle of full understanding and being able to be comprehensive with it and do a good job, and you know, what would you tell them to do to get started and to receive the level of, you know, success that you have, where you have an investor, where you have your, you know, you're able to drop polos that do sell out because you have the market for them? Like, what would you say to someone who's just trying to get started?
Yeah, there's 3 things. It's being different, it's persistence, and it's also figuring out problems. A lot of my job is problem solving. It's how do I do this, or this is how much money I have, budgeting, a lot of stuff like that has been my job. Shipping issues, stuff like that. It's a lot of work. And then back to the first thing, it's like being different is so much more important than it is. I mean, even say like quality or clout or whatever. It's like doing something that's different. It's like my goal has always been, it's like, gotta think outside the box. I gotta make stuff that's like, you know, outside the box or physical or stuff like that. Like I do a lot of like physical pieces, like I guess sculptures, quote unquote, you'd call them, where I, you know, paint something or you know, do something or like kind of revamp something. But you know, the idea is that you're doing something like completely different. That's the idea. Like you can't, like, some of the stuff's obviously similar in the silhouettes and stuff, but my thing is like you gotta do something different, because everyone's shit looks the same to me, and it's like, and I can see the differences, but they're just so ever slightly, where it's like, okay, it's like someone's doing a black t-shirt, you gotta do a blue t-shirt. And I know that's a simple analogy, but it's like, you know, it's like this too. It's like, you know, always someone's like, oh, do a brand, and I'm always like, this is like, it's hard. It's not, sometimes it's not even worth it. You know, sometimes it's just not going to be worth it for some people, and it's like you got to kind of figure that out yourself. So, you know, when it comes to like, you know, making pieces or doing something, just different will change stuff for you, where it's like, oh, we only, if you're a brand, this is a really good idea, if you're a brand and you only did the color blue, right? Everything was in blue. Like the font and stuff was whatever, the designs, but you did everything in blue. The shirts were blue, the pants were blue, but they're all different shades, right? That's a different brand, right? And that's someone to go to, and I want something blue, right? That's kind of the kind of concept people got to be thinking of, right? Versus the black t-shirt with the with this like metal rough aesthetic that everybody does, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's just overdone. And if you want to be successful, that's not the way to go. You got to do something different. You can't just be doing the print with the shirt. You got to look online, you got to research, you got to figure out the factory situation and stuff. You know, you got to figure out, you know, if the designs are there, and you got to ask people too. And the last thing is like is dealing with the difficult decision making and dealing with the downs. I don't know how many times I've said, man, I'm gonna quit Cloudpool. This shit sucks. I fucking hate this. You know, I mean, there's been so many times where I've been like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But I still keep doing it because I like it too much. I like it too much, and it's like sometimes it's not healthy, and sometimes it is, and it's, you know, there's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows. You know, I got a lot of, you know, problems to deal with. You know, and you know, especially just dealing with people in general. It's like, you know, you gotta kind of face the aspects of like, oh, I don't have this much clout, or why is this guy? And there's a lot of people who will get recognition too for work that's not as good as yours because of clout, and you have to kind of figure out how to deal with that and move on. You know, it's a lot of having to balance your ego. It's a lot of having to balance your design choices, and it's a lot of being realistic with yourself. You know, you need to be the hardest critic of yourself, or you won't succeed. Like where the brand's at now, to me, is like, I don't think it's anything to me. Like it doesn't, like, oh, it's like, okay, yeah, but it's like that doesn't mean anything. I haven't done anything yet, and that's always my thing. I still haven't done anything yet, and I'll probably always think like that no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing, because that's just the kind of person I am. But if you can be that kind of person, then, you know, you're just going to keep raising and raising the bar, and there's going to be no limit. And that's kind of like my philosophy behind things. It's just, you know, being different, dealing with the tough times, and making important decisions that matter.
Cool. Anyone you'd like to shout out in particular?
I guess my partner Jeffy. He's been a really good friend. I guess one of the only friends, I guess, too. A lot of people in my life have been kind of flakes with certain things or try to help stuff out, but he's always been there for me. He's gonna be a partner, so I'm really glad. He's got some good ideas and help me with designs and certain stuff. So I don't know. I'm pretty pumped for that, I guess, and just yeah, that's about it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much. That was the Cloudpool interview.